She thought no one would ever find out. 18 years ago, she slipped out the back door of a hospital and left behind what she loved most: a baby, a son, a piece of her own heart. Years went by. She built a new life, a new name, a new story. But that morning, everything collapsed. When she opened the door, a young stranger stood before her with the question she had feared her entire life. "Are you my mother?" Carla was 17 when she found out she was pregnant. Alone, with no family support, and terrified of losing everything, she hid the pregnancy until the final month. On the day of delivery, she went to a remote hospital. When the baby was born, she held him for only a few minutes, then handed him to the medical staff and fled. "I couldn't take care of him. I just wanted him to have a better life, away from me." The guilt consumed her every day. Still, she believed time would erase that chapter of her life. But a mother's heart never forgets. Years later, Carla was no longer Carla. Now she was Helena, a teacher married with a young daughter. No one knew her past, not her husband, not her colleagues. But every night, she cried in silence, always wondering where that boy might be. She changed cities, her appearance, everything that could link her to the past. She built a facade of stability, but the emptiness in her chest grew over time, like an open wound that never healed. Meanwhile, Daniel grew up in foster homes. He was adopted, rejected, adopted again. He always felt something was missing. At 17, he decided to search for his origins, and he found a name in the hospital records: Carla Maria S. de Almeida. He felt incomplete, without even knowing exactly why. The lack of identity weighed heavily. Every night he wondered, why was I left? Was I unwanted? These questions followed him like shadows. Daniel began a quiet journey. He posted in forums, searched public records, until he found a clue: Carla had changed her name. Now she lived in a nearby town as Helena. The anxiety tightened his chest, and one day he decided, I'm going there. I need to see with my own eyes. The decision kept him awake for several nights. What if she rejected him again? Even so, he had to try. It was the only way to find peace. It was a Friday morning. Helena was having breakfast with her daughter when the doorbell rang. She opened the door and froze. The young man looked familiar, but she couldn't understand why. Mrs. Helena? Yes. Sorry to show up like this. I think you might be my mother. The world stopped. The coffee slipped from her hand. The past she had worked so hard to hide was right in front of her, with eyes that looked just like hers. Helena nearly fainted. It took a few seconds before she could breathe. How did you? The hospital. I found your records. I didn't come here to fight. I just want to know. Why? I was a scared girl. I did what I thought was best for you. I never stopped thinking about you. Never. Tears fell from both faces. Time seemed suspended. The pain held in for years was finally beginning to transform into words, into looks, into forgiveness. Daniel stayed there for hours. Helena told him everything. How she hid the pregnancy, how she cried every night in silence, and how fear consumed her. I don't hate you, Mom. I just wanted to understand. And now, I do. They embraced for the first time. And in that embrace, there was no judgment. Only a real attempt to rebuild a bridge time had destroyed. In the following months, Daniel began visiting Helena regularly. He met his little sister. He met his stepfather. They rebuilt what time had tried to erase. It wasn't easy. but it was real. He didn't call her Mom, but he called her my origin. They shared simple moments, movies, Sunday lunches, even birthdays. The togetherness was healing. The past still hurt, but now there was hope, and that was enough. A year later, in a small backyard ceremony, Daniel held the microphone in front of the family. I didn't come here to judge. I came to heal. The past can't be changed, but what we do with it can. This woman gave me life twice, when she brought me into the world and when she had the courage to welcome me back. Helena wept. Everyone wept. It was a new beginning, a bond restored, a quiet but powerful miracle. This story isn't just about abandonment or reunion. It's about courage, about forgiveness, about starting over. Maybe you also have something in your past that still hurts, but time, truth, and love can heal wounds that once seemed impossible. Because sometimes the happy ending isn't perfect, but it's real. Lord, may we have the courage to face our past, the humility to ask for forgiveness, and enough love to begin again. Amen. If this story touched your heart, leave a heart in the comments. Share it with someone who needs to believe in the power of new beginnings. And if you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because here, every story has a purpose, and it can change a life.